My name is Thembi Arries. I am a medical intuitive. I use alternative techniques to diagnose and treat illnesses. I've done this for over the years, and I've successfully diagnosed and treated people with the most complicated of illnesses, which have baffled even the best of some of the medical specialists.
Join us on their journey to better health and renewed hope. This is Dr. Alternative.
Welcome to Dr. Alternative. Welcome to Kabecha. We are back in this episode with a topic on detoxification. Because I've received quite a few. In fact, this is a request that comes long way, where people ask me to cover a topic on detoxification. So today I've decided that we actually look at that. So make sure you don't go away. You may have questions that you can send to us, so that if after this discussion you feel there are still areas that have not been touched on this particular topic, then you can feel free to send us, whether on Facebook or on the email.
Hi viewers, I'm Laurika. I'm back again this week. As Thembi said, we are discussing over detoxification. So my questions were all based on the topic of today. Thank you.
As usual, I have prepared this clip just to give an overall description of what detoxification really is. Please take a look.
The creation of the body was made perfect, as is nature in total. There's a digestive system that works perfectly, digests, absorbs, assimilate, and eliminate. There's a lymphatic system that collects waste, excess water and fat, and eliminates. Your lymphatic system is basically your detox and sewage system. If man was working in cooperation with nature, detoxification would occur naturally. However, with pollution, bad eating habits, substance abuse, bad sleeping habits, etc., the lymphatic system does not stand a chance and needs detoxification. This means removal of toxic buildup in different methods, for instance, colon irrigation, gallstones removal, kidney cleanse, etc. One needs guidance from a skilled practitioner, otherwise it may pose some health risks.
As you can see, there's a lot of confusion about what detoxification is, and everybody in the corner house or corner street is selling maybe some concoction, or is vying that people must take some laxatives. Some people even say they do take laxatives every week because their belief is that this is also helping with detoxification. But we're going to kind of cover a wide net on this topic today, and hopefully by the time we finish there is more clarity. I'll hand over to Laurika to help us drive the discussion.
Okay, thank you, Thembi. There's a belief that the body detoxifies itself naturally, and there is therefore no need for the detoxification. So your views on that?
Yeah. Well, it's actually true that the body detoxifies itself naturally. But that's like utopia. When I'm saying utopia, I'm talking about something that is almost non-existent. Non-existent in what way? Non-existent in the sense that would only work in a situation where we live in absolute tandem with nature. Okay. We plant our own food, we grow our own food, we eat the type of food that we're supposed to eat. Because remember, even though you may plant your own food, you will find that when you really break it down to the nitty-gritties, each family will need a tomato that's different from another family because of their genetic makeup. That even though, I mean, that's science, let alone that science has not gone in that direction to kind of break it down to the nitty-gritty of each family. And even with each family, within each family, each individual. So because you may come from the same family, but because your father comes from one family and your mother from your maternal family, so they themselves are bringing two families together. So you become a product of two families. Therefore, depending on what you inherit from which parent, you know, you find then you might be different from your sister or from your brother because you have inherited this and he or she has inherited something else. So what I'm getting therefore is that the fact that the body can detoxify itself naturally, that is a fact, but that is not kind of, not possible but not probable because of all that we are subjected to. That, like I'm saying, that firstly, your genetic makeup, where you come from, the family that you come from, where you live, people that live in the city, and even within the city, you find that there are certain cities that are more polluted than others. Like, for instance, I know Port Elizabeth. I mean, I work here, I work in Joburg as well. When I go to Joburg, I know that I will have some issues, whether it's dryness of throat or nostrils, or it's kind of irritation, some kind of irritation, because of the level of pollution that you find in Gauteng compared to the wild coast, seaside. So what I'm getting at, therefore, it also depends on where you are. Is it rural areas? And even within rural areas, is it close to the cities? Or there are so many factors, but the way we live as the viewers that we are doing this topic for, mostly we are in cities. And in cities, the pollution is extensive, you know, it's huge. And then the food that we are eating. I mean, even recently I was just saying to someone that I'm actually stopping to buy fruit. Why? Because I'm better off with fruit, with nachi that is naturally produced, or without nachi, instead of taking a nachi that is GMO produced. You understand? Because the one that's GMO produced, which does not even have seeds, it doesn't have seeds, let alone the taste, it may be as sweet as anything, but it's not natural. So it's actually messing up my body rather than fixing it. So therefore you find that once I pick up that, as a result I've stopped buying the bulk, I buy small, so then I'll check that one, see if there are no seeds. If there are no seeds, then I'm not going to buy, because I know I'm buying poison. So what I'm getting at is that even the food that we are buying from these supermarkets, it's food that is itself building toxins rather than helping your body to function. So what I'm getting at is that everything has been so messed up, Laurika. Everything has been so messed up for the body to be able to think it will be able to detoxify itself. Cool. So therefore you need to help it, because that's why people are having poor bowel movement. You find they're constipating, or they've got stomach, this irritable bowel syndrome, this and that. There are so many things. So what I'm getting at is that that's utopia, to think that the body can detoxify itself under the circumstances that we live in. So which is why it is therefore necessary that you assist it to get rid of the build-up, because all that toxic build-up sits in there and it messes you up. That's why you find that if you compare people of today, young people of today and young people in the past, you find that they age so faster. They've got so many ailments. I mean, young people, which is something that you'd never find in our youth days. That, you know, so in answering your question, under the circumstances, the body cannot really manage to detoxify itself. That is why it needs assistance. Okay.
All right. Many people are forever saying that they are detoxifying and take some concoctions. So doctors discourage this. Is it safe?
Yeah. Well, detoxification, many people don't even understand what it means. I mean, like I was saying in my opening remarks, that you will find a person will say, every weekend I take some laxatives. So for that person, that's detoxification. But there may be some truth in that. What kind of truth? Because if this is a person who is forever constipated, who you find for him or her to go to have a bowel movement, they must take something. Then that laxative that he's taking at least is helping to reduce the colonic build up, you know. It's not totally clearing it. I mean, this is what happens, for instance, that in some cases you'll find, when I see people that you find they are so loaded, their colons are almost collapsing, because the colon does collapse when the fecal build-up is too much. Then you find they say, I can stay for a whole month without going to the toilet, and I won't even feel the urge to do it. I will just feel discomfort and all, but I even forget that I've got, that I don't go to the toilet. So those people you find, to actually clear that colon, you need to assist them. So those kind of people, those are the ones where you find, I will do a bowel detox. Bowel detox, we actually soak to try and break the fecal, because remember, when the stools are sitting, building up in that colon, they become hard as a rock, like a rock. And even if you take a laxative, it's not going to help, because it's a stone. It is hardened. It's totally dehydrated. So when we deal with those, then we must soak those stools. So we must start by hydrating this before we say we can eliminate them. We've got to hydrate. So we've got protocols that actually do that. And then you'll find that those people, I will send them for colon irrigation. Now, colon irrigation has got a suction power. It's like enema, okay, but it uses water. There's a system that they follow, how to work in cooperation with the colon and try and recharge the peristalsis, the contraction and the relaxation. So they help, and then you find that then, but for those people who just go for colon irrigation without first preparing the colon by hydrating the stools, you find it doesn't work. They struggle. Then you find they must go maybe 2-3 times a week, because it's a big struggle. I mean, there's a colon irrigation therapist that I normally send people to when they are here in Port Elizabeth. And she actually commented, because she's been doing it for years. And when I started using it, she said, "Man, what are you using?" Because all the people that you refer, it's shocking how easy it just total cleaning up. And yet people that have been doing this work for years, you find they must come to, and it's a struggle. But with yours, I said, because I prepare the colon, hydrate the build up, and that helps the peristalsis to actually, kickstart, such that you'll find that when people start eliminating those tools, because you'll find that once I've put them, sometimes I'll put them on a 3-day, 6, 9, or 12-day kind of bowel detox. But you'll find that then I'll send them to colon irrigation. Okay. But before I send to colon irrigation, you find that as the stools start getting hydrated, then the person starts eliminating. But now the interesting thing, I had one experience. This lady, she had come, I had recommended that she must come to PE. She was from, I think, Mpumalanga. So she came here in our admission clinic. So then I put her on this, and she was staying in the guest house. We would fetch her in the morning, bring her, but then what happened was that in the morning she felt the urge to go to the loo. So when she went to the loo, she released, and then she said she released her intestines. She said her intestines. Wow. And she was panicking, and she couldn't even wait for us to fetch. She I don't know whether she got Uber or whatever, but she came here before we could even fetch her. And she is now coming with a plastic, and I'm like, what plastic is that? She said it's her intestine. I said, I'm not even looking at that. That's poop. That is poop. Why she thought it was intestine? Because the build up, the fecal build up, it follows the shape of the intestine. So when you're constipated for too long, it will not just be poop that just, it fills up the gorges of the colon. So when therefore we're hydrating, it comes out still shaped, because it's not like you're having a diarrhea. It's still the stools, but now they are exactly like you would swear it's intestine. And I was like, she said she was so scared because she was thinking that she's now coming without the intestine. So she thought she was just going to drop dead. The way it was so funny. I said, I'm not even looking at that. That is poop that you're carrying. Go and flush that thing in the toilet. So that's what happens. So what I'm getting at is that this prep that we do for people before they go for colon irrigation, the way it clears the build up, it gets into the gorges of the colon, therefore and therefore look like it's the intestine, but it works like magic.
Wow.
So for people that are having serious constipation problems, that you find they've been having this for a long time, that's the first area of detoxification that I recommend, that I actually even do. But that little bit of taking laxatives at the weekend and all that, it helps to eliminate, but it's not something that I would recommend, because you actually create a dependency. Your colon becomes lazy and dependent. So even if you were to assist it to kind of recharge its peristalsis, but it becomes so sluggish, because then at weekend so you need to eliminate, but it's not something that you can just do in isolation. You need to have it as a protocol, so that while you are doing this, the elimination, you are also assisting with the recharging, the rekindling of the peristalsis of your colon. Also, the other thing that I also recommend is that when people have gone for colon irrigation, they must, we usually put them on a program where we restore the friendly bacteria. Because remember that we've got friendly bacteria that sits in our gastric system, in our colon, which is necessary to kill those bad bacteria, like bacteria like Candida, Helicobacter pylori, and all that. So when you are doing the colon irrigation, you're flushing out everything good and bad. So you need, therefore, after that, to take some restoring friendly bacteria so that you restore your flora in your gastric area. So therefore, those people who are taking concoctions, it's dangerous. Dangerous in what way? The concoctions, because everybody says, oh, this is a liver detox. Liver detox. Even with the liver, you cannot just, because the liver has got so many functions. And it is also an eliminating organ as well. So when you are detoxifying the liver, what are you doing really? Because you must get rid of the gallstones, you must get rid of the bilirubin, you must get your bile to flow, you must get rid of all the other toxic build-up that has occurred in the liver itself. So when you are saying you are detoxifying, what are you getting rid of? What are you detoxifying? So you can't just say I'm liver detoxing. Because even with me, you find that there will be cases where I will give a person a liver detox, but I will give or I will not give a liver detox. I will just give something to get rid of the bilirubin if it's accumulating. Fine, I will give that, or I might give you something that's just gonna rejuvenate that liver so that it does the work itself. So it's not just a case of, and in some cases you find I say we must do the gallstone removal. So not everybody do I do gallstone removals with, So each case I deal with according to what is the toxic build-up that seems to be the case in your case. So even with the liver detox, even though people believe that if you detox the liver, you can just grab anything. It doesn't work like that. You need to know where is it battling so that you clear that build-up where it's having some issues. So which is why, therefore, I say it's dangerous to think you can just grab a concoction just because someone says it's a liver detox. You think it is good enough for you. It may be actually be very serious for you. You find you're not supposed to touch that particular concoction because maybe you're sitting with a serious problem of bilirubin, which if you don't know how to remove, it might actually cause a liver damage. Those people that end up with jaundice, the eyes become yellow and all that. So you can't just grab anything and think this is good for you because they say it's a liver detox. Okay. And the liver is one other organ that is quite huge in eliminating, even when I do liver detox in those people that I do it with, you will find that when it gets to the liver detox, there is quite a lot of healing crisis that occurs with the liver. And then you find the person is nauseous, as weak, is throwing up, is vomiting yellow or green or what. You need to know what you are doing, what you are taking. Why are you following this route of detoxifying this liver and not this one? That type of thing. So it's dangerous to just grab any concoctions without knowing why you have to do what you are doing. Just think you are detoxifying. Let's go for a break. When we come back, we continue with the discussion.
If you are fructose intolerant, you should not eat fruit. Otherwise, it will harm your health extensively. This is a genetic disorder directly connected to adenylase enzyme deficiency. diseases including tissue cancer.
My name is Rachel. I am 35. Well, I was diagnosed with GIST, which is gastrointestinal stromal tumours. It's really rare. It's a form of sarcoma. It starts in like the connective tissues, and for me that was the lining of my stomach.
Liver disorders and mental disorders. How do you know if you are fructose intolerant? And even better, what food you must eat?
Hey, welcome back. We are talking about detoxification. The risks of detoxification, the importance of detoxification, and even more important, the correct way of doing it.
Let's look at detoxification your way.
The way I do it. Firstly, like I've said, detoxification is not something that every corner shop or can supply you with something that you must detoxify with. Firstly, we must, as the clip has said, detoxification is you actually removing the build-up in your body, the toxic build-up. Because remember, when you eat, like I said earlier, you eat, you must digest, you must eliminate. You must eat, you must digest, you must absorb, and you must assimilate, and you must eliminate. So all those stages you must follow. If you miss one, particularly in digestion and absorption, you must know you're going to sit with toxic build. You're starting already to sit with toxic build-up. Now, the food that you eat must be the right food. And you must digest, and that's your digestive system. So your digestive system, once it has digested it properly with everything that's necessary, enough hydrochloric acid, gastric acid, and everything, and all the necessary enzymes and what have you. So then your absorption system is going to take over and absorb. But if the food that you've eaten does not agree with you, like for instance fructose intolerance, or you are gluten intolerant, or you are lactose intolerant, and you eat that food, then digestion becomes a problem and absorption becomes a problem. So what do you sit with? You sit with a lot of food that's petrifying in your small intestines and in your colon. That's why you find many people, they become bloated. They've got a lot of gas. They've got acid reflux because they're sitting with food that has not followed the processes and the stages that it should follow up to assimilation and elimination. Because once, if it has followed, you eat, you digest, you absorb, you assimilate. Once you have absorbed, then it means that food is good for your body. Then the body absorbs it. That's assimilation. And then everything that is a byproduct, that is a waste, then you eliminate. So everything follows to the last bit.
Okay.
Now, when you are having issues, let's say issues are starting with your digestion. You are not properly digesting, but you are not aware you are not digesting. But some people will find, they will say, I do realize that I'm not digesting because sometimes I will feel so bloated, but sometimes if I vomit, I will vomit the food that I've eaten and I'm like, but I ate it yesterday. So I'm vomiting today, but I'm still vomiting the same stuff that I ate yesterday. So some people are aware, particularly those with refluxes, that their digestion is really bad. Therefore, everything that follows is, up to the end. Then elimination also, it becomes an issue. That's where you get constipation, because all that food is stuck. Nothing has been absorbed, assimilated, so it's just the dumping. It's just like when you've invited people to come for a function and they don't eat, and all that food food. You are stuck with all that food. So what's going to happen? You don't even know the bins are full. I mean, if the food is going to petrify and it becomes a big mess. That's what happens inside. When that food has not been digested, absorbed, assimilated, then the elimination becomes a problem also, which is why you get constipated. So in that case, therefore, where do we start? That's just one part of it. Okay. But even though it's just one part, it is involving other organs. Like, for instance, the liver, even though the liver is not listed in the list, like we're talking your stomach, your colon, your small intestine, your stomach, your small intestines, your colon, the liver is not mentioned, but the liver is squarely involved there. That liver is hugely involved there because it is also a digestive organ.
Okay.
That pancreas is hugely involved there because it is also a digestive organ. So they produce certain enzymes that are necessary for that food to be processed. The fat that is in there, that liver is involved in all that. So all those processes, they must happen. So even though the problem is occurring there, the liver, you find the liver is so much involved there. That pancreas is so much involved. Hence you find people end up developing diabetes because that pancreas works harder to try and break down that sugar and all that and that. But to try and narrow it down, therefore, so where would I start? Here comes someone who says, I don't go to the loo for about a month, even a week, because remember, a bowel movement is supposed to happen daily. Even a week is bad enough. When you eat, with every input, there must be an output. Mm-hmm. If you've had your breakfast, you're processing it. So when you have your lunch, your breakfast byproducts must come out. When you have so that's what should happen in a normal, healthy state. With every input, there must be an output. But now you're sitting for the whole week. A month is even too much. Let's just take the whole week. You are not eliminating. Some people will say I do go to the loo, but then it's just the wind. I just break the wind. I'm not eliminating. And if I do, maybe they just have small droplets. So how do you detox? So that's why therefore they say, I must do the laxative. I must take the laxative. So where do you start in detoxifying that person? Where you start is, you start firstly in the digestion. You've got to correct where the problem is starting. This person is not digesting properly. Why is she not digesting? Is it because she's eating the food that she's not supposed to eat? Or is it because the hydrochloric acid is on the low, so it's not strong enough to break down the food? Or is it because the enzymes that are supposed to be supplied, there is a poor supply of the enzyme? Or is it the thyroid that is sitting with a bad thyroxine or even the enzymes to assist? So there are so many factors that I look at. But because my scan shows me all the organs and the systems that are affected, then you find that's why I give people so much medication. Because the thyroid is there as battling. So I must give you something that's going to sort out that thyroid, beef up that nitric oxide, the thyroxine, and help with the metabolic processes. Then I must go to the gastric system. Particularly those people that have got AMAC, autoimmune metaplastic atrophic gastritis, where the hydrochloric acid is so low that whatever they're eating, they're not going to digest. Then I need to beef that up. I'm not getting to the colon yet. I'm still fixing the route to getting there. So I must beef up that hydrochloric acid so that you can digest. And then the absorption is so bad maybe your duodenum is bugged, or your small intestine. So I must assist your small intestines, your duodenum and your small intestines, beef up the absorption capacity of your small intestines, so that that food can be absorbed. And then when it's absorbed, now remember, it's properly digested because we've sorted out the issues there in your stomach. Now it's properly absorbed. Then you find, then we now get to your elimination. Of course, you will assimilate, and then the byproduct comes. But before while we're doing that, we are eliminating. So that is why you'll find with most people, I will say, okay, I'm going to start with bowel detox. So in a case like that, therefore, you'll find that while I'm doing all that, the bowel detox is doing its part. The stopper that is blocked at the exhaust area, I'm eliminating that. While I'm fixing all that, but I'm eliminating that, and then I send you for colon irrigation, then I sort out the bacteria, the good bacteria, while we are sorting that. Then you find your stomach. And you'll find that those people who have got those issues, you'll find that they will either they will say, I eat a lot, and as I finish eating, I want to eat again. Others, they say, my appetite is low. But the majority of them, you'll find that they actually eat a lot, which is the other thing that concerns them, because they say, I eat a lot, but where is this food going to? Because I'm not eliminating, but I get so hungry. Why do they get so hungry? It's because if the hydrochloric acid is on the low and you have not digested that food, so you are really not eating. You are eating, but the brain is saying, we need food there, because you have not assimilated. You have not absorbed that food. You have not assimilated. So nothing has reached the destination. So the signal says to the brain, we need food. So you keep on having that ravenous hunger. You're feeling hungry all the time because that food does not reach the destination. So we fix all that, and then we beef up the hydrochloric levels, and we assist with that. So in that particular case, therefore, I will eliminate, I will detox that colon, and make sure that it's clear, because remember, the colon is huge. It's from your ascending colon, it's your transverse, it's your descending. So when you're sitting with a bowel that is so sluggish, that colon is so full. And some people will find, they will say, when they come from colon irrigation, they say, I was shocked that I'm sitting with so much poop in my, because once it's hydrated, remember when it's dehydrated, it takes smaller space. But once it's hydrated, all of that that's coming out, it actually shocks people that they will be cleared by the therapist, but then even after, they must go and sit where they are doing it naturally, and they say, I must get up and flush and then sit again, because I can actually feel the accumulation is too much. They have been sitting with all that, which is therefore why you find that once we have done that, they say, my complexion is glowing. There's the energy is because we are sitting with all that. But now we have done the right type of detoxification. We've not just given you the concoction or the laxative. We have followed the processes. So that's just the colonic irrigation, the detoxification of your bowels. Okay, and then coming to other areas, because remember, the eliminating organs, you've got your bowel, you've got your kidneys, you've got your skin, and you've got the oral, your lungs. So all those are eliminating organs. Okay, but the liver is the fifth eliminating organ, but it does not have a pot. Every other one has got a port. Your skin has got pores. You eliminate through the pores. Your bowel, you've got the rectum. Your kidneys, you've got the genitals. And your oral, you've got, you vomit, you excrete through the. But the liver does not have an opening. But it uses all 4 of them. So when we detoxify the liver, you will find the skin you may just have the patches, or the skin eruptions may just become too much. I remember some years back, I started doing the liver detox with this was a gentleman, those chubby ones that are very conscious of how they look, those that put their those that don't want to grow old, they put their pants high up, and the way they dress, so it was that type of a person. So and then I put him on this liver detox, and he came, I think it must have been a few days after starting, and he was so angry. And so now everybody was running around and checking whether I should meet him or not, because they don't know if he's not going to punch me when he sees me. I said, no, give him, let me see him. And then when I came in, he says, yeah, in course, do you see what you've done? Do you see your work? And I'm like, just smiling, and I'm like, it's not, you should actually be happy, because this stuff that you see on your face, that's what we're getting out of your system. The reason why you came with all these ailments, it's because we're sitting with all that. So, but now, how do you expect it to come out? The body decides it will not just only use the bowel, it will use the skin as well. It decided to use the skin as well. So that is what's all that. What do you think where do you think these pimples, all this acne that has just erupted like that? You think maybe we gave you something at night and we pasted on your face, and it was starting to laugh. And I said, it's coming out of your system. That's what you were keeping in your system. So just give it a few days. You're actually going to be shocked how good looking you're going to be. And he really did come back, because he was now glowing. The acne was totally gone, and the skin was even lighter than what it was. So what I'm getting at is that the liver will use any of the 4. You may urinate, find your urine gets so yellow, you think you are drinking turmeric. Meanwhile, it's the bilirubin. The liver is getting rid of bilirubin. Or it may be the stools that are so yellow. It's eliminating bilirubin. You will find people who say, my stools are green, my stools are yellow, my stools are dark. It's like I've had, it's black, pitch black. Charcoal. Charcoal or whatever. That's the liver. That is the liver. That even though we are working on the digestive system up to colon, where you could not eliminate, but now you find that what you are eliminating, the liver is, because it's using those parts to eliminate. So that was the colonic. And the liver, coming to the liver, the liver, like I've said, that even in the colonic irrigation, the liver is already doing the work. But when we work on the liver, like I've said earlier, it will depend on what I've picked up in your scan. Okay. Because there are people where you find I cannot touch their gallbladder to eliminate those gallstones, because that liver is limping. So I need to beef it up first, eliminate, just detox a little bit smaller, dosages of eliminating, maybe just reduce bilirubin slightly, and beef up the liver so long. But then you find that most people that I do liver detox, they know where I eliminate gallstones. I always do it last, maybe on the 4th week of liver detox, because it's the liver must be well prepared to deal with that, because the liver goes crazy once you equip it with whatever it needs to do the work, it goes crazy. It's a workhorse, you know. So therefore, that is why you find I will first prepare that body, prep it with supplements, with even though most people still don't understand. But anyway, they are falling into line now. But initially, people did not. I want to start. Then you say, okay, you want to take me and drink. Then you find, I ended up saying they must take me to hospital because I started itching the whole body, or I couldn't breathe, or I was vomiting, or what they cannot handle the level of crisis, healing crisis that they go through. And I say that's why I've got to prep that body well before I give you the medication, because the amount of work that body is going to be subjected to is huge. And therefore you won't be able to handle the healing crisis that comes with that. So with the liver, therefore, I will prep it, remove the bilirubin built up, get the bile to flow and all that before I get you to the gallstone removal. Because people get shocked also when they see the amount of gallstones that we manage to get to eliminate without them having gone to hospital
for surgery.
We eliminate naturally, clean that. You find a person will go for gallstone removal, they flush out. It's scary. I mean, some even take pictures, some they collect the gallstones. I mean, people do all sorts of things. And then they find, and then they say they stopped now. And then I said, if there were that many, we're going to start from scratch. Then we start from scratch, and then they do, but then maybe we don't do it over 2 weeks. We try because now they can handle the intensity. Then maybe we do it for a week. Then they cannot believe the amount of gallstone they still release after they had released that whole lot in the previous detox. So, because the gallstones, they get scattered all over, not only in the gallbladder. That gallbladder sits with a lot of gallstones because that's the storage. But you still have a lot of gallstones that are scattered all over your liver region, and all that. So when we eliminate that whole bunch that you see, that's from your gallbladder. But then it collects all those that did not have space, that were sitting outside, they now get a chance of getting into the gallbladder, which is why you find that when we do it again, you eliminate as though you never started, because that gallbladder is full again. So people who you find end up with gallbladder removal, because when that gallbladder is full and you don't know how to eliminate, and you've been sitting with this for a long time, then you end up getting it it becomes inflamed, a gallbladder inflammation to an extent that they end up doing surgery, they remove it. Then now your liver's working harder because now there's no storage. So it must make that much bile because it doesn't have any storage where it can keep and source from whenever it needs. So you find you're putting your liver still in a lot of pressure without the bladder. But it still manages, but it's not the same as when the gallbladder is there. Okay. So therefore, then we will do that elimination. Then you find maybe say stay for another month, and then we will do another. But then it's cases where I can see that that liver was in trouble. That liver was in serious trouble, where I know you're going to be sitting with quite a lot of gallstones. So that's the liver. So with the liver, like I say, I know from my scan that, okay, this is the state where it's at. This is how much bilirubin you're sitting with. This is how it's battling to do other functions. It's battling to break down fats. It's battling to manage your albumin levels. It's battling in so many things. So we need to work with it gently and prepare it for the 4th week where we do gallstone removal. But by then, when you do the gallstone, you're already a new person. You feel it, you look it, you know, because that liver is saying, bring it on. I'm so supercharged, you know. But we do it, even in cases where people come to me, I don't just do a blanket liver detox, liver flush. It is according to each person's situation. I think because of time, we are going to end up here, but there is a whole lot of other areas that I wanted to cover in the detoxification program. So we are going to do it as the second episode, as the next episode. So our next episode will still be on detoxification, and then we'll be looking at things like the lungs, you know, the skin, all those people that have got terrible looking skin. We'll even look at the autophagy, you know. So in our next episode, we'll cover those areas. I hope as far as the liver is concerned and as far as colon is concerned, you've managed to get some clarity on that, and you will now do the right thing. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Well, viewers, this brings us to the end of another interesting episode. Till next time, thank you for tuning in.